Thank you, Angela. I'll give the floor to Veronica Perez, our coordinator, our departing coordinator of the Vega Network, who has a presentation to share with us, and you'll see it on the screen. And she will share with us her reflections on how to make AIC more attractive to young interpreters, how AIC can be more present in markets where to date we are not very present, and what we can do to collaborate and collaborate with non-AIC members. Thank you, Sergio. Thank you for the request to participate. Thank you to the organizers. And to begin with, I'd like to share a joint effort that was undertaken in a group I belong to, the Vega Interpreters Network, and CACL, which was started by our founder, Silva Camilo. And this is the Vega CACL questionnaire, which is very pertinent to the scope of the discussion underway here, and I think it will prompt us to further reflection and seek to answer the questions that have been asked. Let me share you some of the background of this. During 18 months, we collected the questionnaire together with a letter from the AIC president, and we heard from 20% of these new members, 63 of the 308. Even though this isn't what you would call a representative, it would need to be more than 30% to be statistically relevant, we still consider it very significant. And as you'll see from this slide, the purposes of this, or the main goals of this, were to understand what the perception of AIC was by new members, what their expectations were, to answer the question of why they joined AIC, and also we wanted to send a signal to these new members that we were interested in listening to what they had to say and that we thought it would matter, that it mattered. An interesting statistics has to do with the number of years in the profession prior to joining our association. Very few had heard about AIC in their higher education institutions where they had been trained. This was another of the relevant results. As Angela said previously, AIC should be more present in higher level training institutions where interpreters are being trained. To the question of why they chose to join the ranks of our association, we classified answers amongst different categories of reasons. The protection of our interests was one. The fact that there were agreement sectors that they could, by joining AIC, belong to a community, that this gave them a competitive advantage. They considered that AIC was a quality brand or label and included a certain level of prestige and supported the advocacy of our profession, and so on and so forth. What stood out from this list was the protection of our interests, the defense of agreement sectors, and solidarity. And I think we need to be mindful of this when I share with you the conclusions that we came to. The second question was, what are the most important activities, professional activities, that our association can be involved in? And we listed the expectations according to those that were signals as being most important, that they were in agreement with the values of AIC. And those that stood out were not only outreach to universities, but also to the business sector, to potential clients and users of our interpreting services. This has a lot to do with the discussion we had yesterday, where we asked ourselves what the purpose and who the target audience is for our website. Is it for mostly internal communications, or are we designing, or do we want to design our website to potential clients and users? In terms of the main challenges to the profession, we highlight maintain standards and ethics and price and quality to combat unfair competition and price dumping, how to fight global English and promote all languages, as well as work with new technologies and correct a lack of understanding of what we do as interpreters. These are the main challenges to our profession. You'll see the results correlate with the number of years of the respondents in the interpreting market. The newest joiners were most worried about deterioration of work conditions. I see I'm running out of time, so I'll move quickly to our conclusions. These are the conclusions. AIC would seem to be naturally attractive for newer interpreters or when interpreters join the association, but on the other hand, we see that AIC doesn't really encourage or promote the participation of newer and younger interpreters. We need to see this in light of the new resolutions that this Assembly has adopted and see if it brings about the result of greater participation of the youngest members among us. I hope this presentation helps us in our debate and in our reflection. I just would, by way of conclusion, tell you that in a majority of studies on artificial intelligence, we learn that there are many professions that are tending to disappear. Many kinds of jobs will disappear. And those that will remain are those that have really inherently human skills. And this is what we must underscore. What are the skills that are inherently human in our practice as interpreters? And why are we so thrilled to see ISO projects or standardization or protection at the national level of our profession? Because this is what our members ask us for: solidarity, the protection and the defense of our profession. And AIC has shown to be at the forefront of these efforts. And there are, I'm sure, many other projects in which we can be on the front lines for the protection of our membership. Thank you, Veronica.